Group celebrations are back. Slapping, spitting, and fighting with fans is back, apparently. The nuances of Tom Brady analysis is back.
We call that bad football.
Football is back like it never left. And for some, it wasn't pretty.
Wide to the right, no good!
Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. Well, we learned a lot in week 1, or at least we think we did. Likely week 2 will change everything again. I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't gonna throw for 4 touchdowns every week, right? Is he? Well, whatever happens, we'll be here to walk you through it in the least meaningful way possible. We call it the roast. Welcome to the city of brotherly love. They hate you. The first play of the season took out Eagles fullback Ben Summerin. Jalen Carter was kicked out of the game for spitting on Dak Prescott. That's illegal? That wasn't spit. His teammate was hurt. He was crying out of his mouth. Mike Tirico reacted like he was getting a surprise shoulder massage at a public urinal.
Whoa, 15-yard penalty. Whoa!
Just relax, Mike, and let it happen. Carter was forced to the locker room, where he workshopped his pitch to Tua Tagovailoa for their 2-man comedy group, Tua and Hawk Tua. Meanwhile, Javonte Williams was giving 1-yard touchdowns the business. Cue the obligatory footage of Saquon Barkley squatting more weight than seems sensible. Nice to know that if 585 pounds ever falls on him while on the toilet, he can still mount an escape. Nolan Smith was flagged for flexing. Jesus Christ, think of the children. They called it taunting, as if Miles Sanders was tempted to have some. Keep your muscles out of sports.
Coach, who are you?
I'm not real sure. Last week I was working in a Taco Bell. Miles Sanders fumbled and the Eagles defense ran a tush-push. In the second half, everybody became meteorologists, and we were treated to maps as Eagles fans see them. No towns, just show me where the birds play. This game was delayed for lightning, and either it was raining or Jalen Carter moved to the upper deck. Cue the inevitable tap dancing by the on-air talent.
Trayvon Diggs just came out and he just started wandering around and said, I'm hungry. And he went to a field level suite.
Oh, wow.
Just like this one right here. You see all the fans back there. They're waiting anxiously.
CeeDee Lamb had over 110 yards on 7 catches, but dropped the most important ones after he spent the rain delay bathing in enough baby oil to testify at a P. Diddy trial. Things fell apart late when Dak Prescott made potty on the sideline. If only more Eagles players had spit on Dak Prescott, the Cowboys might have won. Welcome to Brazil, home to nuts and butts. Xavier Worthy is the fastest player in the NFL, which is great until you run into a brick wall or something with similar density and reading comprehension. Travis Kelce tore through him like dollar store toilet paper. They said rookie Josh Simmons is the first one in the Chiefs facility and the last one to leave every day. Why is no one suspicious this man lives there? There are clues, people. Juju Smith-Schuster acted like a jackass and was immediately flagged for taunting. I'm kidding, there were no flags. I mean, it's not like he was flexing. Tierre Tart patty caked Travis Kelce's prefrontal cortex, but he remained in the game. Lucky for us, just like the Chiefs, every broadcast owns their own ref.
Because it was an open hand contact to the head, that was not disqualifying action.
That is an important, if not confusing, distinction between daddy drinks his feelings and bitch better have my money. Mahomes dove for a touchdown, but Harrison Butker missed the point after to tie it. After his kick leaned so far right, it could be Harrison Butker. Travis Kelce had a rough night, but he finally broke free for a score and some white boy dance magic. But first, he had to pantomime Siamese narwhals digging in a sandbox. Unlike Patrick Mahomes' barber, Justin Herbert would not be denied. He threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and loped for first downs like a giraffe with an ass crack full of fire ants. Bijan Robinson had 100 yards receiving. Most of it came in the first minute, when he went virtually untouched for a score. That was fun. Now let's struggle for the rest of the game. Baker Mayfield's cartoon avatar sees you watching football in your underpants. Don't judge me, Cartoon Baker. Mayfield keeps losing offensive coordinators because he turns them into head coaches. Did they finally find one shitty enough to stick around? How many stepdads can one boy have? Late in the fourth, This game did something it couldn't early. Get interesting. Rookie Emeka Egbuka was phenomenal. He scored 2 touchdowns and looked like Jackson Smith-Njigba with Chris Godwin's job. He scored the game winner, but maybe it shouldn't have been. Younghoe Koo had a chance to tie it from 44 yards. It was Younghoe or the highway. Jonathan Bilma nicknamed him Ice Cold Koo. You are not in charge of nicknames anymore. Koo in the gang, Motley Koo, Koo Han Luke, Secret Asian Man, these are all just off the top of my head. The Bengals didn't play their starters in the preseason. Why would you? The Bengals are notorious for winning in September. It was Joe Flacco and a bunch of rookies on offense, and Kevin Stefanski demanded tummy rubs. The Browns receivers dropped more balls than Sidney Sweeney jumping rope at a bar mitzvah. Myles Garrett continued his campaign of being the only Browns player worth paying. Kicker Andre Schmidt missed 2 kicks, including one that would have won it. No, Schmidt! Joe Burrow only threw for 113 yards. No need to get them all in week 1, Joe. It's a long season. Welcome to the One of These Coaches Will Be Fired by the End of This Year Bowl. We take you live now to a Dolphin tied to a chair, being mercilessly beaten. Tua only threw for 114 yards. He turned the ball over 3 times. The Dolphins didn't even get on the board until late in the game. Meanwhile, the Colts offense answered the tough questions.
Where are you going?
Daniel Jones did his best impression of competency and scored 3 touchdowns. The Colts said they wanted to win per owner Jim Irsay. Nice of them to wait until he died. It was Chip Kelly versus Josh McDaniels in a heated competition for most punchable personality. Come on, guys, can't they both be winners? Vegas felt what it was like to have grown-ups in the room. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith back together again. Smith threw for 362 yards and a score. Brock Bowers had over 100 yards.
Hey, check it out. It's a statue of
Taco Bell.
Pete Carroll is old as f***, and they want you to know. He might be, but I wouldn't thumb wrestle him. I've seen what he's done to chewing gum. Raiders taste success, and it's delicious. Kyler Murray wasn't feeling well coming into this game. I guess he was watching last year's film. They said new head coach Kellen Moore has brought energy to the Saints. From the looks of it, it's big ventriloquist energy. Thank God it's Spencer Rattler. I have so much material on this man. He looks like a scarecrow from a daycare. He looks like ramen noodles left in the sun. He looks like a melted stick of butter that went through a car wash. Never lose that job, Spencer. I believe in you. The Saints were flagged 13 times in this. Nice to be good at something. Rattler lost his 7th straight NFL start and would likely return to wherever loofahs come from. Oh, schedule maker, you crafty bastard. The Jets and the Steelers flipped quarterbacks this offseason in what can only be described as lateral moves. It was a game of musical chairs, and the chairs were all electric. But lo and behold, Justin Fields had the Jets offense humming. Fireman Ed is gonna have to use that hat to hide his Woody. And I'm not talking about Johnson. Nick Folk made a 51-yard field goal.
And he massages it through.
I think you're confusing him with Justin Tucker. Aaron Rodgers was somehow the answer for Pittsburgh. Arthur Smith wrung that conspiracy-loving sponge until 4 touchdowns splooged out. What kind of devil magic allowed 5'9" receiver Calvin Austin to win 50-50 balls? Aaron Rodgers finally made good on his promise to win games in MetLife Stadium, but he did it in a different jersey. It was an inauspicious start for the Giants as they lined up on the wrong side of the field, made worse only because their helmets were on backwards. Rookie Cam Scattaboo was trucking defenders like a white rhino, and sometimes even his own teammates. Rookie running back Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt prefers to be called Bill, even though none of those names are Bill. I guess he's a big Cosby fan. He got his first pro touchdown. They say players take on the personality of their head coach. Looking at the Giants, I guess their coach was a weeping willow. Tom Brady, how would you describe this?
We call that bad football.
Thanks, Tom.
Let's look at today's next-gen stats powered by
Ass. Tom Brady, who is that player?
Igbajin.
Igbajin is not my lover.
Igbajin.
Igbajini in a bottle, baby.
Igbanogany, excuse me, I always struggle with those 5-syllable last names.
And you expect me to believe you used to play football? Rookie Travis Hunter played both sides of the ball, but the joke is on him. It's round.
They are sweat testing him today.
What is a sweat test? Is that where they read his search history in front of his girlfriend's mother? We are gonna learn so much today. Why the fuck is this ref happy? Stop it, you're in Florida. The Jags did not look like a never-ending nightmare, so you know, baby steps. Travis Etienne Jr. was picking up honey bunches of yards. Bryce Young threw 2 interceptions, fumbled, and threw the ball away on a 4th down. So I guess that step forward he took last year was off a diving board into an empty pool. They said Cam Ward has a chip on his shoulder. That can happen when you're drafted 1st overall. Jeffrey Simmons caused Bo Nix to fumble. It was so good, they were given a touchdown. You usually don't see that. Nick Bonito showed me what I was missing from my life, as he was the happiest I've ever seen a man to sit. Coach What's-His-Name was furious. What is his name? There is no way to find out. Chimmery Dickey had a huge return for a kickoff. What's that? That's not how you say his name? Well, I am not gonna say it the way it looks, which is like it's captain of a really good softball team. I'm kidding, I love Subaru. At halftime, Bo Nix's underpants were possessed by a dancing queen. Welcome back, Muffin Punts.
Muffed it. Loose ball.
The virtual measurement got personal with Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is short.
Sam Darnold threw for only 150 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba got most of them. Kicker Jake Moody had another rough day. He missed a field goal from point-blank range. I've never seen anyone fall out of bed and miss the floor before. George Kittle scored early, but took his ball and went home after he suffered the boo-boos. The Niners would need an unexpected hero, and one was provided in the form of undrafted tight end Jake Tonges, who scored on a French connection. He mossed a defender and stole the heart of this game. Keep that ball, Jake. Stick it under your pillow and lie in wait for whatever mystic creature visits you this night. Fight it or impregnate it to the best of your ability. We will write stories of your exploits and stitch them together in song. Jordan Love made change all over the field, tossing dimes and listening to Nickelback. There was melted cheese everywhere. The Packers defense was a wet turtleneck. The Lions couldn't get anything going. Everything about them was vanilla, especially their vanilla. Their ground game was a bag of farts being huffed by clowns. They averaged less than 3 yards per carry. Micah Parsons was greeted by the Green Bay faithful with an enthusiasm Jerry Jones has only shown for glory holes. He barely played, but he still made an impact. He chased Jared Goff down like an Amish cheetah on Jungle Rumspringa and posed for the statue they were likely already carving in the atrium. Tony Romo's mind went rogue.
I was just saying, because, my brawling days with my boys. What did you say? Sorry, I was back to punching bag.
Someone get the smelling salts and a women's health. We can't lose him for another hour again. The Packers were dominant. They looked like a contender in mid-season form. I can't wait to see how they screw this up later. CJ Stroud looked like an altar boy, heavily pressured and facing sacks. Matthew Stafford was upright and on the field, which is more than some expected. He has a mysterious back injury, but so does everybody at his age. Nick Chubb led the Texans in rushing with some.
And Chubb again.
Puka Nacua was at it again, and by at it, I mean bleeding out of his face. He had over 100 yards and looked sexy to leeches. CBS Sports went dark with its graphics. Good Lord, CBS, what's next? A hotline? Dare Agumbawali had the ball punched out by Nate Landman.
Of Landman.
Landman?
Nate Landman.
Sounds like a villain in a Monopoly game.
It's the left arm of Landman.
That's like finding out his name is actually Steve Spiderman. Derrick Henry went full Clydesdale with over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Joshua Ranchero Allen put the Bills in position for a field goal before the half, but the Ravens tried to escape.
The Ravens are gone.
Hold on, Baltimore, hold on, please. Baltimore, hold on.
Turns out the refs were the only ones able to do what the Bills couldn't, stop the Ravens' run game. John Harbaugh was interviewed from deep within a coal mine. A fan shoved the Ravens players, and Lamar Jackson wasn't having it. Back to your cul-de-sac, Chad. His next ticket to Highmark should be during the demolition. The Ravens were up by multiple scores, and it was all Skippy peanut butter and HJs for all. But they got too high on their own supply of farts, and the Bills refused to die. I cannot explain the math, but Josh Allen is 90% of this team. On 4th and 2, the Bills ran their signature play. A fucking miracle. As the ball hot potato between Bills, the Ravens watched in doughy wonder. They made fruit salad out of Fruit Loops and produced the greatest come from behind since your parents. There can be no sleep in Baltimore. Live your nightmares in ever-waking protest. Denied are your shelters of comfort and peace. Coffee is for closers, and the Ravens aren't. Caleb Williams looked like Superman on his first drive, efficient and runny. Unfortunately, the Vikings found his kryptonite. 4 quarters. Williams looked like Patrick Mahomes in extra-strength gravity. How heavy is black nail polish? Disturbing role-playing was there. Winnie the Pooh was there.
Oh, that's sad.
Rookie head coach Ben Johnson had no time for questions.
What can you say about your defense and the way they've handled JJ
They're
McCarthy?
outstanding right now. We gave up a little.
Settle down there, interrupting Cal. When I'm done, I'll tap you on the head. The Vikings finally got a chance to see what they bought in JJ McCarthy. And at first, it didn't look great. He spent most of 3 quarters running for his life and sunning his asshole. Until finally, he settled in and started throwing touchdowns. First to the Bears, and then to his own team. He threw a rope to Justin Jefferson for 6, and then deep to Aaron Jones, who had been suspiciously irrelevant to that point. McCarthy looked like he just drowned a bag of kittens, and maybe he did, because he showed little regard for human life, including his own, as he plowed his cherub face through defenders. The Bears' defense was overrun like a porta potty at Burning Man. McCarthy was feeding off of Bears fans' suffering. Kevin O'Connell was jazzed to the tits and evacuated all of his unholy liquids. A disgusting but fitting bookend to week 1.
And now the soft pretzel of the week. Yummy. This week, the pretzel goes to defenses who were ready to play in week 1. More than offenses were. 3 quarterbacks barely crossed 100 yards passing. Tua had 114 yards. Joe Burrow had 113. Cam Ward, 112. This probably caused a lot of chaos in your fantasy football leagues. But don't stress. There were a lot of long drives, a lot of penalties that extended drives, and frankly, defenses were ready to go in week 1. And though we love the pew-pew of the offenses, it's okay to celebrate good defense when we see it too. So here's to you, defenses. Stay salty, my friends. Before we go, as some of you know, I dabble with AI tools from time to time. Well, last week, I stumbled into something pretty amazing, a music creation tool. My intention was to make some background music for the roast, something without lyrics. But what it created was something very, very different. And I'd like to share that with you now. So playing us out this week, the very unintentional song, Gridiron Anthem. I'll see you next week.
Stadium lights ignite the night. 1,000 hearts beat wild and bright. The roar of the crowd, a mighty wave. No turning back, no chance to save. The tension builds, the air is thick. One single moment, one final kick. Hear the drums pound, feel the horn sound. Glory on the sacred ground. Power rising, breaking through. Victory waits for me and you. Turf is torn, the lines are drawn. Till the final whistle blows till dawn.